is up, everybody? Welcome back to Underground Stars Season 4. This is the second to last episode. That is actually crazy. Second to last. We got one more after this. But, Season 4, it's been crazy. It's been a great time. Really short, but, it makes time for Season 5. But today, I am here with...
the two-step legend, Milk.
You two-step? Are we going to get a special two-stepping dance right now?
Oh, no, not dancing. That's FL.
The hats.
On my head, it's a two-step. Yeah.
Hey, either way. What's going on? How is everything?
Good, man. Got a lot planned out for, 2022, musically, just focusing on my mental a lot. This year I'm focusing a lot on that, just health-wise. I'm trying to really almost self-indulge on bettering myself and making sure that my artists are taken care of as well, and that music and the product is overall really good. But yeah, I'm doing really good.
That's good to hear. Yeah, it's I love doing these like 2022 brand new year episodes because I get to figure out what everyone's planning for this up and coming year. And it's always nice to hear everyone's like goals and stuff.
Right. It's always nice to hear their perspectives, especially because everybody puts a different lens into the same thought, essentially. Like everybody has a different outlook on everything, so it's nice to see how everybody views one thing. And resolutions are definitely like an awesome thing to grab from people.
Yeah. So I have a lot I want to talk about, but you have to start it off with the basic question. What how'd you get into music? What inspired you to start music and all that?
All right. So what inspired me to get into music? So a lot of people may not know, but my dad was a musician for a long time. He was a drummer for a band. He was a drummer for a band called Face Cage. It's a heavy metal band in the Des Moines scene. You can look him up. He wasn't in the band after 2006. I want to say 2005. December was his last reign with them. But he was the main drummer. I looked up to that, being a little kid, seeing my dad play drums. I always thought that was really cool. So I kind of picked that up for a little bit between ages 5 and 9. And then when I actually had structure in the musical platform, I guess, I started playing trombone. And I've been playing trombone since I was 10 years old. Yeah. And then, I picked up back on drums, and then throughout the last couple years since I've graduated high school, I've been focusing on making beats more. I introduced myself to FL Studio when EXO Tour Life came out. That's what really got me into making beats and stuff like that. But yeah, just overall, like ever since I was a kid, music has been a thing of mine, whether it's, hip hop, metal, rock, jazz, anything. I'm in.
Yeah. And that's crazy. That's I knew a lot of people who started, just with band or someone like they were in music. I don't think we've had someone whose parents was, musical in that kind of way as well.
Yeah. And this is actually probably the first time I've publicly said that. So, yeah, I mean, you don't typically hear that. The main thing is, a lot of kids, they just find it on their own. So I'm very fortunate to have that background and have that kind of support from my dad and stuff like that.
Yeah. Which is rare. I mean, I tweeted this out the other day. I don't know if you saw it, but it was talking about how a lot of people don't feel like they're supported by their parents.
Oh, yeah. I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I felt the same way, but then, I realized because I talked to them for a minute, and the only reason I didn't feel that support is because they didn't fully understand what, I was doing. So they didn't understand, I don't know how to support you because I don't know what you're doing, and I want to, but what's the best way?
Right. And when you're able to get on that same level for somebody that you look up to supports you like that, it does feel a lot better. It did take a little bit for everybody to get on board at my place to get like that full support.
Hmm.
Just having to explain, like you said, um, all the processes behind it, and the importance of repetition. Explaining like placements, and there could be money behind it
Hmm.
if you make beat sales, all that stuff. Then there was all of a sudden, that okay, as long as there is something for you to grow from this,
Hmm.
we're in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah, that's cool too. Yeah, just because like I know a lot of people, and it's like not a horrible thing, but they go
Mhm.
all in on something they love, but when you look more deeper into it, there's not, like you said, there's no opportunity to grow from it. It's just kind of something that stands still.
Exactly. It's and that support can come from anywhere. Like if you look up to like you could look up to somebody in the community, and if you have their support, that support could really make or break
Hmm.
whether or not that growth is exponential or not.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and that's cool. I really that whole your what's it called? What do they call it? Your like support system. There's a word for it. I feel like I already said it, but you
I
like
feel like
you know what I'm talking about. Like
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
certain phrase that goes with it. But I guess your support system that really, like you said, is what makes or breaks it. Because you could be feeling bad, not wanting to, like no motivation. If you don't have
Hmm.
anybody around you to push you or to support you, then you know what, you give up. But if you have those people, who knows? You might make another beat, make another song, and that might be the one that blows up.
Exactly. Yeah, and I've had a lot of instances like that
Hmm.
personally. I know like my best friends across the country, they'll probably be watching this when it releases, but they they push me a lot too. Like there'll be a lot of nights where I'm on Discord and I'll just be messing around on FL and I'm like totally uninspired,
Hmm.
and they'll suggest something like there. So I don't know if you saw my tweet, but there was one that I said where like my friends freak out if I don't use the Audi 808.
Yeah,
Those are
I
those
saw
same
that.
friends that I hang out with like every night,
Hmm.
and one of them will suggest something and it'll like click for me,
Hmm.
and then he and I will pump something out, and it'll be great. It'll be a great product. It's just awesome to have that constant support system, whether it's somebody that you've known your whole life
Hmm.
or it's somebody that you just met yesterday. Just knowing that you have that fat foundation of people seeing your work
Hmm.
and it having the potential to pay off, knowing that those eyes are on you
Yeah.
and are cheering you on, it makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah. It's especially like if you're either like a producer or an artist on like social media or whatnot. It's very, very, very easy to connect with people who want to help and support, but it's also very, very, very easy to get discouraged because you might not have as many plays as the next person, as many followers as the next person.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, and that's what makes the subjectiveness of music tough,
Hmm.
because there's always going to be people that are a bigger fish than you
Yeah.
in this sea of the industry. So what I always try to tell like people that I know who are working on music, or even my artists, just don't get discouraged on what the next person has. At the end of the day, we have our goals,
Hmm.
and we just need to keep our heads down, keep working, because we're at the end of the day, if we're destroying what we had for numbers and our goals at the beginning of the year, I mean, we're still winning.
Hmm.
It just may not be what the next person has, but
Yeah.
that next person probably has different goals set because they had different expectations the prior year.
Yeah.
It's all about perspective,
For sure.
and that's what makes like I said, the subjectiveness of the industry so tough.
Yeah. For sure. And I mean, speaking of artists, you're an artist. You manage Mercy and AK. We both had them on here. We had
Yeah.
Mercy season 2, and
Hmm.
then AK 3. Are those
Yeah.
your only two artists you manage right now, or do you have more?
As of right now, yes, they are my only artists, and I'm so blessed to have them on my roster. Like, they really confided in me, they trust me, and I really do appreciate that. A lot of my music knowledge does come from my father, but them allowing me to put them under my wing
Mm-hmm.
and let them soar has been so awesome. Seeing their growth throughout the last year was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a couple of playlist placements for Zach and Oz. That's their in case anybody doesn't know, Zach is Mercy and Oz is AKA. But yeah, just seeing their growth, man,
Mm-hmm.
like it has been so awesome. And it feels good knowing that, I played a role, but even if I didn't play a role, I still would have been excited because
Mm-hmm.
I saw it from the beginning.
Yeah. And did you reach out to them, or did they kind of reach out to you for the whole management situation?
So they so Mercy and I first okay, so I'll answer the question and then I'll bring out the backstories, like the lore of everything. So so Mercy and AK both reached out to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was a private Discord call. We were just talking and I gave them rundowns of like business logistics, and we ended up breaking breaking down some more things, organizing some other things, and you know at the time I was just their producers.
Mm-hmm.
Part-time producers. I was just sending them a couple packs every other month,
Yeah.
and that was it. But I was just giving them suggestions and looking out for them. I was like, you know, beyond. I straight up told them in the Discord call, beyond producer outlook, as your friend, I see where the growth could be. This is just my 2 cents.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, yeah, you know what, that makes sense. And then that's when they kind of digested everything we had talked about for like at a good like 2 hours, and they ended up just saying, just throwing the idea of me being their manager. But that ended up happening. But that was long after I met them
Yeah.
both. So Mercy and I met. Can I remember the day? He reached out to me December 4th of 2020.
Sheesh.
Can't believe I remember that day.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I tweeted out that I wanted to develop an artist really bad. And I was at the time, I was kind of ready to put my hat up as a
Mm-hmm.
producer. I just wanted to be a manager. And I didn't think anything of it. And, he had messaged me and he was just like, hey, Bill. I was like, hey, what's up, bro? And rest is history. Like I sent him, I kid you not, the month of January, I sent him 130
Dang.
beats. Like, and we were just going through them. And I remember there was a point in time where I was making like 10, 15 beats
Mm-hmm.
a day just because I had a template in FL where I could just fill in the loop, cut it
Yeah.
up, and then slap the drums, get a hi-hat MIDI going, whatever. And it was it was pretty much pre-made for
Mm-hmm.
me because I made a lot of my hi-hat MIDIs. I used a lot of hi-hat MIDIs and then snare MIDIs as well. It just cut up a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like I could make a beat in like 10 minutes. And so, like I said, I just pumped out a bunch of beats. I sent it to him. He used a good chunk of them. We've got a lot in the vault. And then I started sending some to Oz as well. And so there was a lot of collab stuff that ended up coming through that. So whatever Mercy didn't use specifically
Mm-hmm.
by himself, he would then collab with AKA
Yeah.
on. And that ended up forming my relationship with AKA a lot. So yeah, I mean, after that, we grew thick as thieves. We're like
Mm-hmm.
brothers now. And it's so awesome to
That's
have him
fire. Yeah.
with me. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, because I remember whenever he hit me for the podcast. Oh, I don't even remember when season 2 was. 2020, roughly around there.
Yeah. hmm
Hit me.
It was right before he reached out to me. I
Yeah.
remember it was so funny because he sent me it and I was like, "Oh shoot, you got that?"
No, yeah, but no, that's crazy. That's because I know a lot of up and coming artists are always like, I need a manager, I need a manager, I need a manager. What, and like kind of since you've been doing this for what, almost like a year now, roughly, or I guess year and a half.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Yeah.
Managing.
What is like if an artist was to come to you and be like, hey, I want you to manage me. What are something that you would be looking in to make sure they have that, you know, to make sure they're in a position to be managed?
So a lot of factors do go into it. I think one is making sure that you have that foundation in your cadence, and that goes for any genre. You know, you've got to have that. You, a lot of artists that I hear that are developing don't have confidence in their voice, and those are a lot of people that are wanting those managers, but they've got to. If there was a point of advice that I could give to a lot of artists that want management, it's creating that emotion in the music to where, you know, the manager that you're trying to reach out to is sold, because the manager is going to look, you know, if you're marketable, if your music is also like, if your brand's marketable, if your music's marketable, and what they can do to help grow you exponentially with that marketability. The music itself is on the artist. The only thing that the manager can really do is, you know, tweaks, you know, suggest tweaks and all that, you know, and being that I'm a producer and I've produced for Mercy and AKA, and they do a lot of engineering on their own time, I have that relationship with them where I can suggest those tweaks. But, you know, a manager a lot of the time is just the business side of everything. So I would say just come with your A game, have confidence in your cadence on all your tracks, and make sure to, you know, if you have questions, feel free to ask, because, you know, you're not gonna, how do I word this? Like, you're not gonna know unless you ask. Like, you know, there's a million questions out there that can be answered. You just got to be willing to ask it. And, you know, if the manager doesn't know, that's on the manager, you know, but you've got to, it's just, you got to create that relationship and create that bond and make sure that resume is packed. Otherwise it's just, you know, on to the next. So that's what I look for in an artist.
That's about to be an Instagram little clip right there.
I know, right? Let's see that on producer in like 2 months.
Artists, what do y'all think about this?
They're gonna like witch hunt me.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, "Hey, yo, why does this dude only have 1,200 followers, but he's following like 7,000?" He started roasting me.
Manager who?
Yeah.
Nah, but yeah, that's crazy. I mean, because I don't know why, but for some reason, all these artists are like, I need a manager to blow up. So they are always like, you know, they'll have a song out and be like, all right, it's time to be managed.
Yeah, it's weird too, because, you know, a lot of the times artists don't really need managers until they've had like one song pop off. Like, until then, you don't really need it. But if you want that right off the bat, you've got to come ready, you know, because there's a, you know, it's easy to just do this as a hobby, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, I applaud people that only do it for a hobby, because now I'm in it full time. But, you know, for the people that are, you know, wanting to make this full time, I don't think a lot of the times they understand the gravity of how much work that goes into it. There's so much organizing. There's so much, you know, business part of it that it just, you know, on paper it looks great. But like when you start to actually get into the nitty gritty of everything, it's like, whoa, okay, maybe I don't want a manager, you know? But yeah, no, I mean, your best manager as a very, very small artist that's starting out is TikTok. Seriously. Like, TikTok is your best friend. Like, just don't spam the same song 50 times. I see that a lot, and it's kind of, I mean, just you and me, that's kind of corny to me.
Big
like,
time.
if you preview it like 3 or 4 times, that's one thing, and you spread it out, that's marketing. But if you spam it like 50 times in a 30-day period, like come on, the algorithm's not going to help you out. There's not going to be one of those 50 posts that pop off, and if they do, it was sheer luck, or you bought the bots.
The ones that are the worst, that is, whenever I talk to someone about TikTok or whatever, the ones I'm like, don't do, or that was like, oh, if you played this song, it could change my life, or I'm like, dog, don't do that. And then also, there's those accounts that will put out a song, and then, because until you're big, no one's gonna fully. You're gonna have a lot of haters. So someone will like put out a song and like, oh, so and so copycat, or oh, you sound like this. This is this, and then their account has like, or the artist account has like 10 videos. One of them is of like the song, and then the other 9 are them responding to these comments. I'm like, don't do that either. Like,
yeah. If you indulge in that hate at a very early stage, it's just gonna hurt you. It really is. And then you might as well just wipe the account and start fresh. Because I mean, a lot of people are just gonna know you as the dude that can't take a troll on the internet. Like, shoot, I know for me, I have my TikTok account. I get a bunch of people that comment on my stuff, and it's not always the best, review of it. But it's like, who cares? If I respond to it, I look stupid. But in the same token, if I just let it slide, nobody's gonna care. So it's just there's a healthy balance. I do see a lot of those artists though.
There's
that'll just
like I see there's like 4 or 5 consistent ones that I see on like Twitter that are talking about, oh, haters this, hater that, hater this, and then like they'll have like this big tweet like, I don't care what anybody says, I don't care about the haters, and I'm like, you do, because like that's all you respond to and that's all you talk about.
Exactly. Or my favorite, I don't know if you've seen them, but the ratio artists, where they'll just write like a stupid ass sentence below a tweet, and it'll just end with ratio and it'll link to their YouTube video. It's so bad. Like, I saw it today with oh my gosh, whose tweet was it? I don't even remember, but I just remember like he literally copied the first part of the tweet, pasted it, and then added ratio to the end of it, and then just posted his YouTube link.
That's hilarious.
What the fuck is that marketing?
Hey, we're talking about it though.
Yeah.
But no, yeah.
It's just, what the fuck?
I remember whenever I was like going hard on TikTok, I got to get back on that. That was one of my New Year goals. But I had like it's good 10 video span of the same 2 people leaving the same comment, and the comment was like, hey dog, change your tag. Hey dog, you got to change your tag. Hey bro, this is hard, but change the tag. I'm like, what?
You gotta love that too, because it's like they'll have the post notifications on, and they'll be like, they're just waiting for like something to happen that they don't like, and then they'll just post about it.
Like they like the beat, but they're like, hey, this is hard, but it'd be hard if you change your tag. I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah, that happened to me. So there was a beat that I posted. It was for Kenny Beats 24-hour challenge, and I flipped the trumpet into like this key. It sounded like an electric keyboard, and everybody, like, the first time I posted it, it blew up, and there were like a lot of comments that were like, "Oh, you should have made the drums incohesive. It would have been a better Earl Sweatshirt concept." And I'm thinking in the back of my head, but that's not what I was going for. Like, what the fuck are you on? And then I posted again, and I literally put in the caption, my favorite comment from this video was Earl Sweatshirt vibes. And then a bunch of people were like, more incohesive, Earl Sweatshirt. I'm like, what the fuck? My point exactly.
Honestly, it's crazy. It's funny though.
Yeah.
It's always an enjoyable time just to see everything like that.
Oh, I know. Like, my favorite thing is like seeing people. What I'll do sometimes, if like the dude says something that just slightly gets under my skin, I'll like click on the profile, and it'll be like some dude with some barbaric beard that's like 3 feet out, like got a barrel chest, and he's got like a beer gut, like 4 feet out. I just laugh. I'm like, okay, buddy.
Yeah. Social media in general is just, it's a lot, but it's fun.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you do,
No,
if you
it's
do it
a
right,
trip.
it's great. If you don't, it's still, enjoyable, but not as.
True, true. I got to get back on posting on Instagram, man. I have been
Reels,
slacking big time.
Reels trust.
Yeah,
Beat
yeah. I've got to post
breakdowns,
more reels. Mm-hmm.
even like the ones I see a lot of producers do this, and it annoys me so much, is on like their Reels, they'll just post a video of the beat, like a snippet, like how you would post it
Oh,
on like
yeah.
Twitter. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not what this is for. No one's gonna watch a whole minute and a half of a beat. Like, throw that
True.
on, your normal post because the algorithm sees how long someone stays on your post. So if you have a video in the post, they'll stay longer and it'll boost it. But for a reel, if they see just a super low quality video of your speakers going off, they're gonna swipe away immediately, and then it's not gonna get pushed.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. And then like, I don't know, like there's so much on there, like the reels that I've seen. Like I've seen these those exact ones, and all you can hear is just the distorted spins on there. Like you can definitely tell it was soft
Yeah.
clipped and stuff like that. And he's just, I don't know, man. Like Reels is a gem. I will say that, and social media in general. Like you've there's so much importance to it, like in a business perspective, because it's like that's how people know how you're doing and what you're
Yeah.
doing, and to stay relevant.
Yeah.
And that's what I've told my artists too. Is you want to space out posts that are important, so that way you're not overwhelming the consumer. Because if you overwhelm the consumer, then they're just going to be like, okay, who gives a
Yeah.
shit? And they're just going to straight up disregard it, not care. But if you give that dramatic effect, space it out, whether it's a week apart, 2 weeks apart. I mean, I've seen some instances like 4 weeks apart. As long as you're keeping that relevance and keeping that hype going, you're winning.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, but like you said, there's people that are posting their speakers. I keep looking at mine because I'm like, I was that guy at one point, like, hey guys, check it out. And I post it on my Snapchat all the time, and I get like 5 viewers. I'd be like, oh shit, this is popping. But no, like that's not marketing. Like you've got to. I've noticed, and probably a bunch of producers already know this, but I'm going to give this tip out. Always show your face when you can. The algorithm likes that better, whether that's Reels, just IG in general, or TikTok. Like seeing your face does so many wonders for the algorithm. It's not even funny. Like I have a behind the beat for Maddie where I don't show my face. This was back when I was streaming, and I think my camera wasn't working. I fucking hate this thing that I'm using right now. It keeps breaking down on me. But it broke down on me, and I was in the middle of streaming, and I was just like, okay, I got to keep going. Show goes on. I can't just stop.
Yeah.
Well, I finished the beat, and I end the stream. Well, 6 months have passed before we released Maddie, and I was just like, okay, well, I think I made this on stream, and I downloaded the VOD, and I was uploading it, and it was just straight footage.
Yeah.
And the only way I could make it entertaining was, because my face wasn't on there, was using voiceover, and it didn't do any numbers. Like I think it got like 150 likes, and that was it. But it's always important to show your face behind the music, because if you don't, then people are just won't care because they don't see a face behind the art.
Yeah. I'm over here, and I just posted a beat breakdown with no face.
I'll retweet that and like that. I got you.
No, but
I know how hard that algorithm gets, man, with no face.
I haven't this year on Twitter, because usually I post like a snippet, like a beat snippet or whatever, so like all the artists who follow me or whatever. I do maybe like once, or I do try and do like 4 or 5 a week. I haven't posted a single one this year so far.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've been slacking. I literally said that I was gonna do a New Year's post on Instagram,
Hmm.
like literally like January 23rd. I took like a bunch of pictures outside by my house. I got all this new stuff. I was excited. And then I got all the photos. I have everything all set up. I just never clicked
Hmm.
post. I'm just slacking. And there's a lot of snippets on there that I wanted to post up too. Like I've got a bunch of beats that I wanted to share with
Hmm.
people, like with shout out Hakeem. That's my boy. That's my loop go to now.
Young
I've
Hakeem.
been using. He's my brother, dude. Like I love that man. Like I could reach out to him at any point, and I know he's got my back for some
Yes,
loops.
sir.
And he so he's the reason why I call myself the two step legend now, because he's like he reached out to me. I just made a beat. It was before New Year's, and it was going to be the one that I was going to post.
Hmm.
Um, and I didn't realize it, but he had pointed it out. He was like, the two step legend, you never fucking miss with the two step hi hats. I'm like, you know what? You're right. You're
Hmm.
right. And so then like, um, we just ended up talking about how like we're like on the same brainwave.
Hmm.
I honestly I forgot what we were talking about. I just went on a Hakeem like tangent.
We were
But yeah, no. Shout
posting.
out
Yeah,
Hakeem.
shout out Hakeem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Posting in general, man. Like, you, it's hard. It's hard because like
Like you said,
artists, there's like a certain.
go on.
Go ahead.
Like you said, you
You
need
good?
to figure out, the perfect. You want to need that anticipation, but you don't want to, overdo it. I know people. I follow people, friends, who like
Mhm.
producer friends who, you know, will post 3 pictures every like in a day. Whenever they post, they'll post like 3 pictures, and they'll do that like 4 or 5 times a week. That's 15
Mhm.
pictures in a 5 day span. And
Yeah,
they'll
that's a lot.
average like maybe 20 likes, 15 likes.
Hmm.
But the only reason is because, like you said, people get sick of it, so they don't want to see it. And then also, they'll see one picture, and then that's it. So they don't have like a bunch of pictures together, so it doesn't boost it in the algorithm because they say too much at it. And then,
Hmm.
so they do that consistently, which is, consistency is good, but you have to know when to be consistent. You don't want to be over consistent, so you don't want to post 5 or 6 times every day on Instagram at least, and then
All right.
average 10 likes per. But you're like, oh shoot, if I post 5 pictures in a day and get 15 likes, that's 75 likes. Like, oh shoot, I got
Right.
75 likes today. That's fire. In reality,
Hmm.
it's 15 per, and what are you really gaining from it?
Right. Right. Because the logistics behind it, if it were a promoted piece, and that's what I've been talking to Mercy and AKA about, is the cost per
Mhm.
click. And I actually just did a paper about that in my English class this last semester, is the cost per click and how it's pretty much saturated the system, but it's like the only way of survival in the
Mhm.
industry. Like there's some sites where, you know, I want to say Twitter's like, no kidding. I read this and my mouth dropped, but it was like 12 cents per click, something
Jeez.
like that, because it's so hard to like get people to
Mhm.
click the links. Like you can reach a bajillion people, but how many people actually
Yeah.
click that link is so tough. And then Instagram was like 3 cents, I
Mhm.
believe, and then YouTube was 5. But yeah, doing all that research, it was just fascinating seeing how modern marketing with posting and all of that sorts is really just drowned
Mhm.
how we push the product
Yeah.
out. And it just crazy to me, because small artists, like in our circle, don't have these big artists
Mhm.
money. And pushing out, it's okay to put $20 on this post and $30 on that post, and you may get like $3,000 or $3,000 3,000 people reach, but at the end of the day you probably only got 10, 1 to 10% to actually click. So then the question becomes, how much of that value that I just spent was really worth it? So then you've really got to figure out targeted audiences and figure out narrowing your spectrum of just the post in general. Like, do you want it to be more towards kids our age, or just, in high school, or, do you want them more middle
Yeah.
aged, close to retirement, and things like that. And certain cities too, because a lot of artists, they want to, their first instinct, and I have noticed this, not even just with artists that I work with and I manage, but just in general, they always point to LA and New York and Miami for where they want to target their audience. You always want to get the local scene going, so that way you can get that support that we talked about at the very beginning. Um, so that is like so important. Like, if you get local people, even if it's just a state over, you're winning.
Yeah.
You're winning. There's no losing there. But if you're so hell bent on going to the mindset of the big leagues right off the bat, it's going to hurt yourself more than better,
Yeah.
because you're focusing on the big picture a little too fast. You got to get the puzzle pieces added before the grand picture could be looked into.
Yeah. And like with one of our artists, Tommy, his what was it? It was like his second song he released under us. We ran a campaign, a Facebook ad campaign, and we did all, the audience or whatnot. And it was like it was just, trying to figure out what's the best, template for him. And
Yeah.
so we did like, his hometown, but also checked out his Spotify pages, Apple Music pages, saw what, like, the top cities, top whatever, prioritized those, and then also did, Canada, UK, New York, LA as like a more broader term, and then ran it for a few days and came back that, like, I think we got 3,000 link clicks, and then we checked like the thing, and it was like, out of those 3,000, a good 60% of them became plays. So
That's really good. That's really good numbers. Yeah, see, and that's like a prime example of marketing, right? Like, you can most definitely like go for those big cities, but only targeting those really does hurt the artist. And you guys sound like you did an awesome job, and that's what I kind of do with Zach and Oz too. International. We're starting to break down countries too. We just talked about that actually in our end of year cap meeting, or recap meeting, not cap meeting. But no, just looking at those logistics can set the artist from a level like 3 out of 5 to a level 4, 4.5. That last 5 comes from, blowing up, of course. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot to look into. And that's where, managers, labels, and all of that come in. They break down the logistics. They help that artist out and make sure that the artist has a grasp of and understanding of what the gravity of that marketing can be if it's capitalized right.
Yeah. For sure. It's crazy. It's a lot, just a lot of information that I know it's like, if you're an artist, you're like, I do not want to do or worry about any of this. I just want to make music. But I mean, some people, really enjoy looking at all this and be like, oh, sick. Yeah. Let me, take all these numbers and then turn it into, song plays or something like that.
Right. Right. Yeah, no. And you can make it as a manager, you can make it fun to get the numbers, because it's like a reward.
Yes.
And like an announcement type of thing that you can do for your artist. Like, hey, great news, logistics wise, we did this, basically this. But I don't have to do that with my artists in particular, but there is always that avenue, so that way it's not so boring for them. that way they're always in the loop of the
Hmm.
logistics, and it's not like we talked about, so boring for them to where they're just like, okay, shut up, let me record,
Yeah,
let me do my thing, you do your thing.
I feel that. All right, so two things. First,
Yes.
do you have anything else you want to discuss before we end it out?
Ooh, put me on the spot like that.
I just know
uh
I got most of the stuff that I was trying to get out. So
yeah,
I don't know some people who come on here, they have things coming in that they want to talk about that I don't always hit. So I just want to make sure.
yeah, I feel like I was scatterbrained enough to cover a good chunk of things. um but I don't know, I think I'm
All
good.
right.
And if there's more, I could always, just pop back in and put in a good word for myself for
Yes,
another
sir.
guest visit. But
All right.
never know.
So the way we end these off is I got three questions for you. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
The first one is if you could executive produce an album for any artist, who would it be?
Any
Hmm.
artist, Juice,
Yeah,
Juice World. I'd love to executive produce a posthumous album.
that'd be fire.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like Nick Mira. I mean, I tried. I don't want to say I tried emulating that, but I felt like that chemistry that Juice and Nick
Hmm.
had together was very similar to how uh, Mercy and I started
Hmm.
off. Like we were just back to back to back to back making music, and it was just for every one beat I had, he had a snippet for me.
Yeah.
It was just that kind of formula. We had it unlocked. So I would definitely love to do something like that
Hmm.
for like I'd love to do like an executive production for a posthumous Juice album.
Yeah, that's fire. Second one is what region of music do you find the most influence from, or do you just enjoy the most?
Ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one. I love this one. So I would probably say the South.
Hmm.
Big, big, big jazz person. One of my favorite musical experiences. I had the opportunity with my jazz ensemble in high school. Um, we were able to go to New Orleans, and I feel like that trip changed my perspective of
Hmm.
music and how I wanted to approach music.
Yeah.
So I think I think the South really is where my heart lies for anything music related.
Yeah. I feel that. And then the third one is what advice you have for either artists looking for managers and trying to build their image, or up and coming producers.
All right, so I'll answer both. So for artists looking for managers, make sure your resume comes in with a punch. You know, I'm gonna be honest. I've been hit up a couple of times. I won't make it sound like I'm popping,
Hmm.
like a popping manager, of course, but I have been reached out a couple of times, and I will say, just asking won't necessarily do it. I want for me, just bring a resume,
Hmm.
like bring a website, bring a song, uh, and bring energy, bring high
Hmm.
energy. Show me that you actually want to be managed, and show the manager that you want to manage you that you want to be managed.
Yeah.
Because that'll prove to them that you actually want that dynamic relationship for business logistics in the music scene. Because if you don't have that, then what's the point?
Hmm.
So there's that, and then for upcoming producers, make as much as you can. Repetition is so important. Like I started off with an HP laptop
Hmm.
that was like that had an i3 processor. It was dual core, so like it took me about 3 minutes to open up
Hmm.
FL. But I make like 3 to 5 beats in a day, and I never closed my laptop because I knew the punishment I get in
Hmm.
waiting to open it back up. But everybody starts somewhere. Just make as much as you can, and don't ever hesitate to reach out to you know the bigger fish
Hmm.
that are in this because they'd be more than willing to help you more likely than not. And if they don't, that's just on them.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people that'd be more than willing to help the smaller fish and see them grow and blossom into something great.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Fire. So yeah, thank y'all for listening and watching. All Milk's links will be in the description below. Go ahead and be managed.
Yeah.
He's only taking the first 5 people that hit him up.
Yeah. So requirements: if you come from the video, you have to comment, you have to subscribe to this channel,
There you go.
and you have to like the 3 most recent posts on all social media
There you
platforms.
go.
I don't make the rules.
But no, yeah, thank you for listening and watching. Season 4 coming to an end. We have one more episode after this next week. We have Seth Such. And yeah, I mean, hopefully season 5 will start again in a month and a half or so. But yeah, we're gonna try and get all that going. But no, yeah, thank you. It was great. It was really informative, I'd say.
Yeah, not a problem. It was a pleasure being here. I had a lot of fun.
Yes, sir. So yeah, thank y'all, and we will catch y'all next week. Peace.